Is this a bad angle? Hi everyone, thank you for clicking back on over. I'm on to something. I am on to something. In case you didn't watch my first video, my last video, this is my second video. I am Ariane. I am new to Option Alpha, but I am not new to day trading. I'm definitely new to automation. I have been trading a very specific strategy on SPX using vertical credit spreads on a 0 DTE time frame. In my last video, I went over my strategy and my first week in Option Alpha trying to automate said strategy. And when I said I wasn't technical, I didn't just mean on the charts. I mean in general. Like, I'm just not very technical. I have a teenager for that type of thing. So listen, it's a little bit of a slow crawl for me. But one thing about me is I am here to make money. I am here to profit. Just because I don't have my bot running smoothly doesn't mean I'm not showing up every day to make money. If you're like me, kind of stumbling around, making small changes, a tweak here, a tweak there, don't forget that there are literally hundreds of ways to generate money-making ideas in Option Alpha. For example, I have found inspiration just in what others are discussing in the community. Also, if you just go to the high-performing bots that have already been thoroughly backtested, review the trade setup, and manually enter the trade. I mean, that's kind of how I landed here. Also, there's this really cool 0 DTE Oracle feature, which I have used, and I'll make a video at a later date going over that. I just want to encourage you that even if you're not very technical, that there are plenty of ways to be learning and profiting now without your automation being perfect. All right, so back to where I left off in my last video. I think pretty sure I left off on this trade there. So this is my trading log for the manual trades I have been taking in my Thinkorswim account based on the 60-minute opening range breakout with really, really simple rules. Enter a 10 wide, put credit spread or call credit spread on SPX at the 60-minute breakout. I'm using a 50-cent profit target and I'm using a 1 times the premium received stop loss. Or 100%, right? If I take in $1, I'm stopping out at $2. If I take in $1.30, I'm stopping out at $2.60. So in this period of a couple of weeks, my bot was still not mirroring my manual trades exactly. So in an effort not to bore you to tears, I'm going to summarize the bumps in the road that I had, the bumps in the bot road that I had. And I think you'll find some value in this. All right. The first problem that I had was how I had my bot set to take profit. In the settings, I chose a fixed dollar amount of $55. Don't ask me why. In real money, I was using 50 cents, and on paper, I was using 55 cents because I was trying to squeeze out an extra $5. Okay, I just wanted to see how that played out. But okay, so because I knew I was only trading one contract, if that one contract reached $55, close the trade. What do you know? The first day that this bot run with that setting, my trade filled for 55 cents. It took a 10 wide spread for 55 cents, and then it didn't know what to do with it because I came back after the market was closed and I said, why did this trade expire worthless? Why didn't it close? Because the trade price was 55 cents and my take profit was $55 and it was exactly zero value and the bot didn't have anything to do. So listen, thankfully this trade just expired worthless. The short strikes were out of the money at the end of the day, but in a real life situation, I don't want I know we're just talking about $55 today, but one day this will be $550. And I don't want my $550 to be floating around exposed to the market for an additional 3 or 4 hours when I could have just locked in the profit. So my remedy is to change the setting to take profit at, okay, now I'm going to use 50 cents or 90% of the trade price to avoid that if a spread fills for less than my profit target, that it knows what to do. Okay. All right. The second challenge I had was the strike selection of the bot. Okay. So I'm going to use the same trade from August 8th. And you can see that the bot went short the 55, long the 45. But in my real money, I went short the 50, long the 60. I filled for $1. It filled for 55 cents. Let's look at the chart. Okay. This is a chart for August 8th in 15-minute increments. The low of this candle is like 55.16, I think. Yeah, 55.16. So my bot went short the 55, long the 45, the first short strike outside of the opening range, outside and below the opening range. And I went short the 60 and along the 50. So why did I on this morning choose a strike inside of the opening range? Because my bot is set to choose a strike. I was like, well, I'll tell you why. Because in the morning, when I was going to choose the strikes, I'm like, I'm not going to sell a 10 wide for 55 cents. Like, that sounds terrible. I'm going to choose the 10 wide that's closer to $1. That's the premium that I like to collect. I mean, that's the premium I like to collect for a 5 wide. So only collecting that for a 10 wide is still kind of a stretch for me. So my instinct was to choose the premium over the strike. Now, this is an issue, not an issue, but this is a decision that I'm still kind of going back and forth about. I don't really know what's more important to me. Is it to get the higher capture, or is it to choose the safer strike? So that's something I'm still like toying with. I'm leaning towards I'd rather go with the further out of the money strike despite the lower credit. Okay, shoot. I also forgot to mention that, I got stopped out. Maybe this would answer my question. I got stopped out on this day. Now, for what it's worth, this trade did win. As you can see, my other trade never reached 130%. It never got stopped out, and it ended up expiring worthless. As would have this spread as well. It would have expired worthless, but my stop was too tight. So that's just something that's outside of the bot that I need to consider about my stop price. But okay. And lastly, the reason my bot was not mirroring my manual trades is simply because I just didn't have the same profit target on my bot as I was using in real money, which I touched on earlier. But let me show you actually what happened on August. By the way, disregard all of these. Every time I made one tweak, I just cloned the bot and named it something else, but the name doesn't have anything to do with, is not relevant. Okay, so on August 14th, I'm going to go to the chart here in a second. My bot lost, but my real money won. My bot took the 40-30, entered at $1. I took the 40-30 and entered at $1. Except 14 minutes after I entered, I took profit at 50 cents. I called it a day. I walked away. What happened to my bot? My bot was looking for 55 cents, and on this particular day, it never got to 55 cents before getting stopped out. It did eventually win. But you can actually see here that it did reach $50, but not 55 before it got stopped out. So let me show you actually on a chart this day. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the high of the opening range. This is the low of the opening range. This candle triggers the opening range breakout. We're looking for a PCS below 6441, which of course is 6440. And in this time, from this breakout here to this breakout here, that 10 points, I'm able to capture 50 cents. I call it a day, but it never got to 55 cents. So on this day, 5 cents mattered. And I should know that. Like, I'm a 0 DTE trader. I know that 5 cents matters, but usually it's not the difference between a winning and a losing trade. It's the difference between I'm in the trade for 14 minutes or I'm in the trade for 30 minutes. You know, like sometimes 5 cents makes a difference in the time and trade, not necessarily whether it's a winner or a loser. Okay, so to be honest, my friends, Part of the reason it's been a slow crawl for me to fine-tune this automation is because I've never had to think this critically about every possible scenario within my strategy. In my real day trading life, these are decisions I make in like 2 seconds, instinctively. So building this has really made me slow down and examine every micro decision. And for that, I know I'll be a better trader. All right, so the current version of my bot looks like this. I'll put it on the screen. 60-minute opening range breakout, 10 wide PCS or CCS with a short strike outside of the opening range, 50-cent profit target, 130% stop. I am going to run it like this for the next week. And then if no problems arise, the week after that, I'll connect it to a live real money account and see how that goes. Sound like a plan? Cool. If you want to follow along in real time, come follow Option Alpha on Instagram. I'll be in stories, sharing updates, what I traded that day, bot updates, probably stuff that never makes it here to YouTube. Or join me in Option Alpha with a bunch of way smarter people in the Option Alpha community who are seemingly making money hand over foot with already established high performing bots. So both links are below. See you in the next one.